Coelho and other MAC members, the complaint that purportedly led to Mrs. Coelho's wrongful eviction and illegal detention.
They refused to let anyone accompany me as if I was a criminal. They shoved me in the police jeep and took me to the police station. I was absolutely bewildered. I had no idea what I had done to deserve this. At the police station, I repeatedly asked. I said, am I arrested? No. I said, am I detained? No. Can I leave? No. I said, why can't I leave? You have to wait till the PI comes. So without using the word detained, they kept me at the police station for 3 hours.
Mrs. Coelho accused the Sarpanch Raghuveer Baghar of being uncivilized towards ladies as he was a mere spectator when she was being forcefully dragged out of the meeting.
The Sarpanch, instead of doing anything to save a single woman who was being faced by a group of rowdies, quickly scribbled on a piece of paper. I have this complaint here as well if you require to see it. And the police swung into action. As a law-abiding citizen, I thought the police were here to protect single women and law-abiding citizens who are being faced by rowdy elements and threatened. But the police instead picked me up, dragged me out of the Gram Sabha, physically picked me up, dragged me out of the Gram Sabha, took me to the police jeep.
Sauter D'Souza, a member of the Moira Action Committee, accused the government of violating the rules of the Panchayati Raj in collision with the Sarpanch and members of the Panchayat.
That the government is in collusion with the Gram Panchayat members, the Sarpanchas, in using various intimidatory tactics to discourage people from participating in the Gram Sabhas. This totally defeats the 73rd constitutional amendment, which is about local participatory governance, people's participatory governance.
Meanwhile, the Moira Action Committee has planned to take out a rally in the village on Friday.
What we are doing immediately is we are taking out a Save Our Future rally. At this rally, what we are doing is we are having several speakers who will talk to us about how you can plan for the village, how you can save the future of your village. If you are saying no to mega projects, what can you say yes to? How can you deal with the garbage in your village? We are doing a very positive rally that gives the village the tools to move forward. Our concern is our village must prosper.
Don't go away, we'll be right back after the short break.
It's like I'm so happy about performing in Goa, and apart from that, the other important thing is Goan people have listened to all the great Hindustani musicians regularly for so many years. There are so many wonderful festivals happening. So all the audience, I'm sure they are very enlightened about music. So Jankar, just look at them. They know more about music. So performing in Goa gives an extra happiness because you're performing in front of an audience which already knows what is music, the intricacies of music. So I really enjoy playing it.
Praveen told us how the flute has now become his best friend, as he elaborated on the difference between his style of playing the flute and other instruments.
I was initiated into flute basically because my father is a flutist. He used to play flute, he used to practice, he used to teach. Throughout my childhood, I used to listen to that regularly. So it was like 24 hours of flute in my house. So there was no other option for me. I mean, I had no... From the moment I was born, probably I was made for flute. So although I also learned tabla initially, here in Goa also. And then later on my father said, no, it's better you go into flute because your swar ka jnana, that is much better than this thing. So I prefer you play flute, and I really enjoyed it. So even now I play a little bit of keyboard, I play a little bit of tabla, I play a little bit of guitar, I sing and I play flute. But flute is the main thing. Basically, our style of playing the flute is the gaiki style or the vocalist style. We play just like a vocalist sings. That is one particular style. But apart from that, I also play the tantrakari. So in my flute playing, it is quite different from other instruments because most of the other instruments, they follow the tantrakari anguli. They don't follow the gaiki much. But I have tried to maintain both, the balance of both. So that way my flute playing is quite different from even the flutists of India otherwise, and also other instrumentalists also. The people who follow gaiki will definitely like my kind of idea because I play just like a vocalist sing. So because I learned vocal music, that has been possible. I can sing also, so I can sing and I can play.
Praveen, who himself had previously participated in a reality show, gave his views on the participants of such shows, as he also offered advice to parents of participants of these reality shows.
Participant is aiming only at the immediate goal, that is to sing for films or become popular, become star overnight. In this process, what is happening is they are not learning the basics of music. Many of them just have talent of grasping whatever they listen. They listen to someone singing, they listen to the cassette, they can immediately reproduce. That is fine, that's a wonderful talent. But along with that, if they have the knowledge of Shruti, Swara, Laya, Raga and all, they can create their own music. Now what they are doing is they're mere tape recorders. They're just reproducing what they're listening to. Reality shows should concentrate on selecting people who already have musical knowledge and also induce certain rounds where there is only pure classical Indian music. Persons who clear that round can go further and then let them sing whatever, the film songs, pop songs, whatever. But that way the standard of singing will be maintained high. And also I would like to say here that the parents also should take care that if their child is really talented, then let him learn first. Because there's a wonderful saying in Hindi, pehle siddhi, baad mein prasiddhi. So first you learn, first you practice, rehearse, take your time, go to a guru, learn the music first and then go behind fame. So,
desiring that people should encourage classical musicians, Praveen did not fear that Western music would overshadow Indian classical music.
Indian classical music is wonderful, the future is wonderful. As you see, the halls are full. For each performance you see full audience, and not only here, anywhere in India you go, you organize it properly, you always have a wonderful audience for the classical music. The only request to the listeners is you should promote your local talent, you should promote people who are behind classical music and classical dance first, and apart from that you also give preference to the light musicians also, because I do both. I play the classical music, I play for films also. So I would rather see that people are first give preference to Indian classical music. It will not happen. Classical music here is here from ages. See, this kind of things happen every decade. In 70s and 80s there was disco coming in. Then in the 90s there was breakdance coming in. So during my childhood I did everything. I used to listen to Bappi Lahiri, I used to listen to Lakshmikant Pyarelal, but at the same time my riyaz was regularly going on. So that process should always be there for the classical musician, and no other music can dominate Indian classical music. Indian classical music is treated with high regard. So whenever Indian musicians like us, when we visit abroad, they treat us like gods, because they fail to understand how you can create so much in just one scale. You can play for 1 hour, one raga. Without having written notes, they cannot play. So what we call as manodharma or impromptu music in Indian classical. That is the beauty of Indian classical music.
Praveen finally advised newcomers in the field of music to preserve Indian classical music.
Brothers and sisters, preserve Indian classical music. So if 5 minutes of that song can give you so much of happiness, imagine the same rag has been sung or played by a musician for 45 minutes. Imagine the amount of happiness that you are going to get.
We'll be back with more news on the other side of this break. Stay with us.